Welcome to the overview for the Easy Newsletter based on the Easy Publish environment. The first thing that we need to look at is we need to say that the Easy Newsletter is protected by all of the features and all of the systems around Easy Publish. So therefore you have the standard login screen to the administration interface, and that's generally where you're going to spend a lot of your time as an editor or administrator of the Easy Newsletter. So the first thing we need to do is we enter in the URL, either an internal URL, an external URL. It could be protected by HTTPS, certification, or any other systems that you put around your browsers. So it can either be as secure or insecure as you want to make it. We're going to go ahead and log in here just as an administrator user so we can have access to every single feature in the system. Now the first element we get taken to is we get taken to the newsletter content page, and this will be useful if you're looking for any particular bits of content within a newsletter, and of course you're going to have a lot of these, so you're going to have a lot of information that's going to be stored, so you're going to want to have a mechanism of filtering it. This is already built into the system, so you could have a look at newsletters based on their priority, you could have a look at them based on their status, via the target audience, and in here we've selected end customers and partners, but you could have more, their locale, and of course another label which you could then configure yourself. So you can start to build up the system as you want. So you could either start simply and then work up, or if you know exactly what you want from the word go, you can actually go in and change it and configure the system based on your needs. What we're going to do is we're going to have a look around the top here and see what other features we've got. Now we have within the system, we have a media library, and the media library is a standard Easy Publish content management system that enables us to store all of our files, our images, and also any multimedia items that we may want within our newsletters. I think it's important to note that although you can actually store just newsletters in this system, if you have a look down here, you've actually got articles that you could store within the system as well. This is useful if you want to have supporting information or links from the actual newsletter, or you want people to, once they've gone to a newsletter site, which they have the option to do, that they can then explore and get further information. Maybe there's additional feedback forms there or downloads, etc. So let's have a right look along at my account. Again, standard Easy Publish information where you can have a look at your drafts. If you're creating any drafts of information, this is items that you're not quite ready to work on yet, not quite ready to publish, they'll be in here. Your pending items, if you've got any notifications or workflows that are available, your bookmarks, and any collaboration issues you've got. Also the standard features for changing your information, changing your passwords, and then logging out. So the basis of the system is newsletters, so let's go straight to newsletters. As you can see, you've got newsletters that are listed out based on their types, so you can group them within various different areas. So we've got Partner Day in Xi'an, and within that particular newsletter group, we've actually got, so this is a the group within there. We've got the standard information. We could create a newsletter if we want, and we'll move on to that in another training module. So what we can do then is we can go, well, let's have a look at the areas that are archived. How many items are there? And here's some items that have been finished, they've been sent, and they've gone, and you can see how many items have been sent, the status, and when they were created. So you can get a good view about exactly how many new newsletters have been sent, get an idea about how things are working. You can have a look at items in progress, how many of these items are being worked on. You can then have a look at drafts, reoccurring, and also you can have a look at your inbox, and this could be where you've got ideas if you're planning future campaigns. We also have the area of the system which is list management, and this is the area where you want to keep your addresses. Where are you going to be sending these emails to? So if we have a look at one here, we've got a training one. So if we have a look in the training, and we can see here our lists, and of course you can have as many lists as you want. This is a list within here. We can see how, when it was created, We can see if it requires a password to have a look at the information, whether they're anonymous, whether they have to confirm, whether you have to approve the users. So again, we can see that this isn't just a list system. This is a mechanism where you can actually choose the types of groups of people you want to talk to, whether you want it to be protected information, unprotected information, whether it's a list or a group of information that enables you to say, well, these people I have to approve before they get on the list. And then that will definitely help you to prevent spammers, so spammers getting onto your lists. So what we need to do, look down, have a look at the bottom here, is we're then going to have a look at the subscriptions list. So here we've got no spam at Vision WT, no spam at Vision WT2, etc. We can see that when the status of the person, so we can see that here's someone who's actually pending. So if I don't want to send information to them, I can choose whether or not to, whether to bring them into list or not. I can choose, I can see when it was created and also see when it was approved. I could view this information, or I could edit the information just if it was updated or it needed to be changed. Now you can either enter this information manually, but I'm guessing that you're going to have a CSV file which you could actually import into the system. So the current system exists with an import from a CSV. You would import that into the system, upload it, and then you can go. Now that's fine, but you could also customize the system to get this list from elsewhere. So although you've got these features available within the basic system, you could say, well, actually I've got a CRM system that I want to import the information from. If you wanted to do that, then a module could be created to actually import that, maybe on an overnight, maybe keep it up to date, or maybe keep it synchronized. The choice pretty much is yours how you want to work with that. So you could also use the system to enable you to say, well, okay, I want these people to register on the site. The system enables you to do that. So you could say, well, I have a newsletter site, sign up to the specific newsletter site, and then you can work from there. So the choices of where you get your information from are not fixed by the system, but extendable. And as it's an open source content management system, beneath it, you've got all of the people who can customize that to make it do those. And there's lots of extensions available to help you on that. So you don't have to go from the basics. Now you also want to get an idea about how many people have bounced back. So how many email addresses are not valid for whatever reason. What would happen is all of these would be listed here, and you'd be able to see the bounce management, the items on hold, or you could actually see all of the items. Now there's no bounces in this particular demo version, but within your system you could be able to manage that information. So pretty much that's all of the features that an editor needs to use. You'll generally spend a lot of your life in the newsletter, within list management, and within bounce management. Thank you very much. Let's take a look at creating a newsletter. Now the first thing we want to do is we want to select newsletter, select which newsletter type we want to create in, and I'm going to choose the partner Dan Xian. Then scroll down, make sure this is the correct information that I want, and then click Create Newsletter. I wait for the system to load up. I say the name for the actual newsletter. When I actually want the newsletter to be sent, so it could be I want it to be sent, say, at 8 o'clock in the morning, but it may be that I want it to be sent later on. I'm going to leave it at that because I'm going to send it immediately. The category, and this could be sales, it could be marketing, or it could be any category that you want to give it. The actual pretext, so this is the text that's going to go into the newsletter. So here you can see we've got welcome to the Easy Partners Daily Newsletter, which is pretty standard stuff for the text, but there are some items in here. And the items in brackets that you've got here are the way for you to be able to add in specific information. And we've got in here the actual name. So we'll take out from the list, find out the name of the person, and pop it into the newsletter here. You've also got any post text information that you can then place down the bottom here that will appear on the newsletter. Now this is an interesting thing. You can choose the different design you want to send. We've got one design that's actually pre-set up in the system here, but you could create as many designs as you wanted to. What would happen is you'd have the example listed here, you'd select that you want, say, conference, then you can actually choose the different designs. Now you can then add designs to the system later on or convert things, modify them, etc. Once you've chosen the design you want to use, you then want to choose the output format. So we've got different types here. We've got text, HTML, external HTML and SMS. So it gives you a good feeling for the types of output that you can have, and more can be added in the future based on different types of media, maybe multimedia SMS. We then got send the preview to address, and I'm going to change that to no spam. Vision WT, and send the preview to mobile. Then what you can do is you come down here and have a look at, well, what language, what locale do I want this one to go to? And I'm going to select this one's English GB, because that's the locale, the location, and the language I'm going to be entering it in. It's going to be an end customer, so these are the types of audience that are required. And then I'm going to put in the actual title, so my newsletter. The subtitle, if I wanted the subtitle to appear, and that's generally for navigational purposes. If it was an SMS, I'd enter in the text in here, and as you can see, a nice feature is the actual text, the number of characters counts down, so it means you're never going to be cut short at an end of a text. Then here we've got the pretext for the HTML version of the editor. Before that was the text version. Here we have now the HTML version, which means you could actually create your newsletter in both types and then choose which one you want to send it in. So we're just going to modify this one here to say welcome. We've then got the post text. If I wanted to insert a header image or some kind of images within the newsletter, then I would put them in here. Now, email address for feedback. Again, you're adding some emails in here so that you can actually get some feedback from the end user when they actually receive it. And then we can say how often do we want to send this. So I'm actually going to do it a single time, so I'm going to leave deactivated, but I could select, well, I want to send this on a daily basis, on a weekly basis. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to send that for publishing, and it will then store my newsletter. I've created my newsletter. Now that I've created my newsletter, I want to have a look at it. What would it look like to the end user? So I can actually see here's my newsletter down the bottom of the list here. I can see when I created it, I can see if it's been sent, I can see the status and how many people have read it. Well, I haven't sent it yet, so I'm not surprised that nobody's read it. So the first thing we want to do is we want to click on and have a look at the preview. This then gives you a preview window where we can see the information that we entered. There's not a lot of information here, so we could then click on and have a look at it in full screen. And then if I'd have added any imagery or any other types of information, that would appear here, and then the main content or item would appear here. Now let's have a look at one I've done earlier for the conference 2006. Now within here we can see this is the content that was entered, but we've also got different items. These are the different bits of information, so the articles within the newsletter. So you're not just creating a newsletter itself, you're actually creating a newsletter that then has sub-articles. Now the sub-articles within the newsletter then get listed here, and they also get listed on the main site. So as you can see, there's photos of the partner day, and on the right hand side we've entered in some more information, some more imagery, so we can actually get a good feel, or the person reading the newsletter can get a good feel about what's going on. Also, the entire newsletter is totally content managed, so you can change any of this information whenever you want to. Maybe the person who's actually viewing the newsletter and they would receive this within their email client wants to click on one of the actual articles. Now, in a traditional system, that could take you to another site, or a site that you've created in HTML, or a site that you created in another form of system. But what the Easy Newsletter system enables you to do is, when you click on, say, I want to understand what the agenda is for the day, it takes you to the mini site. Now, this mini site is automatically created for you within the system. You can almost not create it. You can choose people not to look at it, in which case you can just put articles in there which they can't click on. But this is an opportunity for you to be able to take the people to a specific site where you can then move forward the call to action further, where you can either inform them, whether you can take them towards an action. So what we've got here is we've got the 3 items that we had listed, but it's now within a mini site. So we can see the agenda. The user can then go through and actually look at maybe some photos of the day to get an idea about what's going on. Now, there are some methods of getting the user information into the system. As we've seen, you can either import them from a CSV file, you could synchronize them with another system, you could enter them in manually to the admin administration system. There's another way as well, and that's the more traditional sign up from the web page. Now, as you can see, the system actually stores within it a web page which you can customize, so you can change the look and feel of this. And then you could enter in the end user who's wants to sign up for the newsletter can enter in their first name, their last name, mobile number if you're going to be sending SMSs, and the email address. Now, this could either be hooked into your system, or you could add it onto your existing site and then send the information through to this Easy Publish environment, and the newsletter will then pull that information in. The choice is going to be yours as to how you want to feed that in. By default, the system comes with the ability to have it within the main site. Now, that's great because it means that you then start cutting down your administration overhead, because what they can also do is they can also update their profile information. So if they log into the system and you allow them to log in, you can then show them their name, their email address, and then also you can actually change the actual mobile number or the actual other additional information you want. So you may actually want to list in here the type of newsletters that they're actually subscribed to. So this could start move from a very, very simple profile update to something that can be more in depth, and also start to gather more information about how people are working. You could build this, if you had an Easy Publish system, you could build this into your standard profile and then extend it. Or what you may want to do is you may want to have this on your main site and then just link through to the Easy Publish site or some other mechanism. Basically, as the Easy Publish environment is an open environment, it can pretty much connect to anything else, which means that as long as you understand what you want to do, then you can generally do it with the Easy Publish environment. Thank you.